guy.
What is going on, everybody? Today is a big day for Nick Sands Presents because I am here with the esteemed and acclaimed graveyard detective, Erin Moulton. How are you doing today,
Fabulous.
Erin?
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for bringing me out into this secluded graveyard today.
My pleasure. This is my favorite.
This is your favorite graveyard?
Yeah.
Is this where you plan to be a bird?
No. So oftentimes you have to be a resident and I'm not a Derry resident, so I can't. But I love this one because I know a lot of stories from here.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I didn't know you weren't a resident.
No,
there.
I know. Sorry. Does this make
surprise?
This...
Yeah, I'm sorry. This interview is over. You need to start putting this stuff up front. So I feel like the most obvious question is how did you even get into graveyard detective work?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because often I'm like, why am I doing what I'm doing? But it all comes from, loving history, and I am a librarian at the Derry Public Library, and people come in and they'll say, I'm doing genealogical research, and they start digging around in the archives, which is my expertise. And then we go, okay, well, where are they buried? And I can help them find them here. And the archives, the local archives, and the graveyard mirror each other in a lot of cool ways. So that is why
what do you mean
I
by
end
that?
up over here. Well, because they both reflect the same people. So this is like our local history museum, right? In a way, because it's telling you there's all these people and there's lots of little clues about who lived here before. And the archives will give up the ghost a little bit, so to speak.
No pun intended. She's an author, so expect a lot of puns in this interview.
Unintentional. But we see the same names, but then we can dig a little bit farther so we get their story. And I love that part.
Dig a little bit further. That's another pun.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
God damn it.
Really, we gotta quit.
So, do you remember, you're an author as well?
Yes.
Which one came first?
Definitely writing. I love to write, and I got a master's degree in that at the Vermont College of Fine Arts. And I published a couple books, but the library is less fickle than publishing, I like to say. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. And so I've been a librarian for as long as I have been an author. And then it kind of developed. I started as a teen librarian, and then I became a genealogy and reference librarian because I loved it so much, and my boss was like, hey, you seem to be fitting into this niche better, and she made a little room for me there, so it worked out.
That's really cool. So where was your first library?
It was the M.G. Parker Memorial Library in Drake-it, Mass.
I feel like not enough people appreciate how much work it is to become a librarian, or how much work librarians really do.
Well, that's true. And also, I think a lot of people don't realize you need like a master's at the reference desk. You need usually a master's in library science. I slid in a little sideways because I had an arts degree, but I also had a publication and I had supervisory experience. So they were like, you qualify in a weird way, but you qualify. And then I learned a lot on the desk.
That's actually something that I have always found in basically everything.
Yeah.
Is that like, you can either go to school.
Yes.
Or you can figure out a way to have way more weird experience than other people do.
Right. Especially if you're creative. Right. So then you're like, I'll do it this way maybe. And if you do it well. So
you can either have a master's or a publication?
No, it depends on the job. So Masters of Library Science is like the standard for the reference desk. But I had a Masters of Fine Arts and a publication and supervisory experience. Okay. So they're like, you can probably do this teen position. And I think I did a good job, but I learned a lot from my mentors there too.
What if you just had a bachelor in fine arts? Do you think you still could have done it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Arts is one of those weird ones that I feel, to me, it's always been sort of a waste, I guess. I don't know.
Did you do an arts degree?
No, I did not. I did not graduate high school.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was like, you seem like a Emerson kid to me.
I recently, I don't even know what that means.
Like, I went to Emerson College for theater arts.
Okay.
And they're just like, creative, always got their film stuff going on, or a podcast, or like 15 different projects. And it's interesting, but it was an arts degree, and I don't know. So,
funny story that other people have heard on this podcast, but apparently you didn't do your homework. I actually hated school with a burning passion. Every fiber of my being hating school.
Okay.
So much so that when I was leaving high school, had accepted that I was going to be a loser because that's what you were told.
Your profession was going to be.
Yeah, I was going to be a loser.
Got it.
I can remember multiple people who were close to me telling me that the world needed Dunkin' Donuts employees too.
Oh, God.
So, anyways, long story short, the only thing in high school that kept me interested was theater.
Okay.
And then once I didn't get the good enough grades to do theater anymore, I basically checked out. And so I guess your weird assumption there was right.
It was 100%.
You
I was
nailed
like,
it.
I know him. I know him.
Interesting.
I love it. Yeah.
I didn't know you
I mean,
could do that.
I also don't know that you need a theater degree.
No, that's what I mean. I feel like the arts you don't really need. Do you feel like as a arts major, do you feel like it was necessary for you to like improve in the art?
You know what I think theater school did, and just working in the theater, so maybe it would have been totally fine if it was just like from high school, is always I can meet a deadline. Always I can pivot and solve a problem. I'm good at working with a team. Like, those are all theater skills, right? You gotta be able to do that.
I know that in film school, one of the big ones, or the thing that everybody says is like the actual benefit is just meeting a bunch of people.
Yes.
Like you just meet a bunch of people who are doing film.
You can network, yeah.
So it's just easier as you get older. And that's actually, they've showed that with all colleges, is like, it's actually, the degree isn't really the benefit. It's more just like the meeting people who are also...
I felt like, definitely for my master's, I felt like that was important to publish anything. It was like, okay, who can I talk to? Because it really is about, hey, so-and-so's referring you. And that means a lot in publishing.
And where did you decide that dead people was really your area of...
So a lot of times when you're doing publishing or trying to build a brand, you need like...
Why don't we tell people what your book is? Your first
the beginner, book. Or the first book I
or whatever.
ever wrote?
Well, actually, I'm kind of interested in that. What's your first book you ever wrote?
It was called Flutter, the story of four sisters in one incredible journey. And it was a middle grade about four sisters who had to go like save their baby sister.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Oh, okay.
And then my most recent one is The Beginner's Guide to Cemetery Sleuthing, which I had a blast putting together, self-published, all my own pictures. And it's kind of like a scavenger hunt in a book and talking about what we're talking about today. But yeah,
what brought the idea? What brought the idea to do that into a book like that?
Mostly the work that I was doing, because I wanted to share. So not only will I, wander around the cemetery or do a cemetery tour, but I'll also say, okay, how do we do this research? And so I split the book up into those two sections. When we're seeing something in the cemetery, how do we make any meaning of it? And then how can we go to the archives and research to kind of put the person's story back together? I love that sort of thing, so I wanted to make it easy and accessible for people.
Can you give me an idea of what like your typical situation is when you don't know anything about, a person that's buried here? Like, how do you start that process?
Yeah.
Do you start in the archives? Do you start at the graveyard?
It could go either way, but if I'm in the graveyard, I'll look for a name and I look for dates because I want to find that person. And then I will go and think of those date ranges and what resources we have that it's within those date ranges, and then we'll start digging. And usually one leads to the next. It's harder for things like these really old ones from the 1700s because there's less of a paper trail. Then we get into the 1900s or like the later 1800s, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, we can put together a whole timeline through the census records, through the newspapers, through vital records. And you start to piece their stories together. And there are some real characters in Derry. So oftentimes I'll run into a lady in the newspaper and I'm just like, what is she up to now? And like, that's how I want to be remembered. Like, what is she doing? Just quirky, funny, odd tales they'll sometimes tell, or interesting anecdotes. The local paper was always like a social notes, so maybe it'll tell you just bizarre things about people. Like, I was doing the downtown Derry walking tour, and I was looking at one particular building, and the one thing I found about the owner was he had this thing called quincy throat, where you have like a growth in your throat. But then he recovered, and he was feeling much better in the next edition.
How do you recover from a growth?
I don't know.
Did they do surgery?
I don't know. I didn't really go into those details, but it was just telling us he was well again after that. It's kind of like their Facebook, right? They're like, oh, homesick with the flu, and like, feeling a lot better this week.
You had to publish that though?
Yeah, oftentimes it was published in the paper.
It must be, because I know old newspapers, I've done some research with old newspapers in the past, and it's difficult because back then the printing press was kind of set up that everything was the same typeface and also the same size. And so like all of the stories just kind of run into one
Right,
another.
and you're not, yeah, they can be tricky to go through, but I think it's even easier now with OCR, the optical character recognition, because then it will...
Thank you for clarifying that.
Just making sure we're on
I
the
like that
same
you said it
page.
and your face immediately was like, he doesn't know what that is. You got a look of terror.
It can read it for you a little bit, but it's also not 100%, because you know how you're saying like it's not always easy to read?
Yeah.
Sometimes the computer can't read it either, so you have to do two things. You have to read it for yourself and let the computer help, and then you have better results. Not just let AI.
It sounds like
Don't
you
just
could-
let AI do
It sounds like you could just read it yourself. It sounds like that's reading it yourself with extra steps.
It is. However, like sometimes it'll catch the name where you didn't see it.
Gotcha,
And
gotcha.
that is like a nice little, it's a nice little surprise.
What
Bonus.
So you find a name in the graveyard,
Yes.
and then you go back. What is like what are your favorite sort of like if you're like an average person, not a super librarian like you, if you're just an average person, what would you do? Like where would you find record? Like where would I find records?
Right. So yeah, making it accessible is what we love to do, right? So it's like first I would probably start with Ancestry, and I would put in the basics, you know, name, time, a place, and see what I could find just in terms of birth, marriage, death, and census records. And then I would go into newspapers. Like we have Dairy News from 1880 to present day, all digitized.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we would end up going in there looking for a whole bunch of, you know, names, but you also want to try other things besides just, especially with women, it's like try their married name, try their maiden name, try every variation on their married and maiden name.
How would you find their maiden name? Is that all?
That's all through the vital and census. Like you would find it probably on a death record and a marriage record and a birth record, and you kind of have to work across those records to correlate between them to make sure you're looking at the same person every time. And then once you do, and you are narrowing in on location, you can track them really well in newspapers. Of course, there's also probate records, there's old diaries, there's old newspapers, not newspapers, there's all sorts of other things, city directories
Diaries
that you
must
can
get
look.
wild.
Diaries are fun.
Dials must get crazy because
There-
back then there was no like the police weren't that good, so you probably have all kinds of confessions and shit in
Well,
there.
there's stuff in there. Yeah, actually, down here.
I was like, I murdered 47 women,
No. There was, okay, there's a guy
and they
down
blamed
here.
that trollop, Mrs. Amesbury.
I love this road because I feel like people don't come down here a lot. But there's a guy called...
We've been the only people here this entire time. Nobody comes to this entire place a lot.
People are definitely walking around there. He's lying. There's people all around.
There's a lawnmower going somewhere in the distance.
There's Lester. Where is he? He has a tiny stone.
Oh, Lester, he's definitely, that's not good. That's not a good name.
Okay, no, but what happened with Lester was super sad.
Okay.
So where is he? Oh God, he has a tiny stone.
Oh, that's not what you want to hear. Ooh, poor guy.
I think he's over here. So what happened was he was like dairy boy, everybody loved him. He went off to college, he became a lawyer. And then he did something where he like spent money. Oh, it's this round one. He was doing estate checks, but he found out, the police said he was fraudulent on them. And so
What's
he
an
had
estate check?
basically like, someone had passed away and he had signed something so he actually could get money instead of it going to the proper place. So the police arrested him and he ended up drinking Paris Green, which is like used for killing rats and other rodents, I believe. And so he became direly ill, and the doctor was basically like, can he stay at home under guard instead of going to prison so we can see if we can get him back? And unfortunately they didn't. He passed away. But in the diary of Reverend McGregor, he was a fellow Mason.
Yeah.
And so in the diary, it's just a short little entry about, Lester Russell passed away. They're concealing his death from his wife, the true nature of his death from his wife at the moment, because they know it will upset her so much. So that's where you get that weird tidbit
what'd they
from the
tell her?
diary. Well, in the newspaper, they said he was very ill. They didn't know what it was.
Mysterious death.
And then later on, just on his death certificate says Paris Green. I'm assuming they told her or that she knew eventually. I don't think she was a rube. I think she was like, what? You were in trouble, then you were direly sick,
like,
and then I don't know if he was trying to just get out of going to jail for a minute or he had a lapse in judgment. Unfortunately, she was pregnant and his son was born like a few months after his death. It was dark.
I see why you love this so much.
She's like, oh, I'm sorry, Lester. What?
Are there any happy stories here?
Yeah, I'll come here.
Okay.
So if we're over here, and this is odd. Again, I love this row because it's kind of like,
I love that you keep saying that.
as if it's not
As we're
clear.
scooting around the graveyard. This is a little weird, but this lady had
But you're
syphilis.
gonna love this.
Her nose fell off.
So
All of her sinuses were visible.
I love this one because Ethel Adams, she's one of those where I'm like, what is she doing now? Whenever I see her in the old newspaper. So she just says Adams, but Ethel is here, and so is Richard, her husband. He was the undertaker for the town.
Dick Adams.
She was a school teacher, and she was in all sorts of clubs. And in the 1930s, they did this compilation of folk stories and through the Women's Federation, and a couple of hers are just Scots-Irish signs and omens, and they're funny, weird little anecdotes, like, and sayings, like, if you hang a pail of water on the horn of the moon, it forecasts a good apple year. Obviously.
Clearly.
Or if you see a white horse, a red-headed man is near.
Fuck.
I know.
That's not good. Was that bad back then?
I don't know. I mean, they were Scots-Irish, so I'm assuming there were tons of white horses and redheads.
Redheads around. They were like the albinos of the early America.
Yeah, and she also had these little stories of, like, old, remedies. So she tells a story of this farm lady that she had the kids and they had just the pneumonia. They were super sick, but they knew that if they saw a man on a white piebald horse or something like that, and they run outside and ask him for a remedy, they should do that, and in 1 week it will be cured. And so a guy on a piebald horse goes by, and they run out.
What's a piebald horse?
I'm thinking dappled or something. I'm not even sure.
You were saying it with such authority.
I know, but that's just because that's in the story.
You were saying it in such a way as I should know. I felt stupid asking.
You should. Well, I think dappled? No, we're going to be, I'm sure people will jump. Just tell us what that is.
Yeah, it's one who has, I'm also piebald.
Oh.
It's like almost, not quite bald, but not.
Partially.
Not bald enough to shave it.
Pie meaning partially, yeah. But he said, like, take a harrow tooth, which is a part of a plow, like a tooth from a plow, and soak it in milk. And so she went right out and she got that, like, plow piece and put it in the milk and soaked it. And sure enough, 7 days later, her kids were
dead.
Cured.
Her kids were dead.
Were cured. So
it was a weird coincidence.
So they say.
She used 2% instead of full.
I'm sure it was raw. I'm sure. But yeah, I did. And then she.
So daughter of the revolution. That means her father fought in the Revolutionary War.
Yes. Yep. And then that was also a social
Adams?
club. Not, I don't think, I haven't looked at those papers, but I don't think it was a famous Adams. But, so Daughters of the American Revolution, longtime social club around here. I think this one is I'm going to mess it up. Is it the Molly Reed or John Stark? I can't remember. Manchester and Derry have two different names.
I think Manchester is John Stark.
Yeah, and here's Molly Reed.
I don't know.
But John Stark's birthplace is here. So, whatever. One of them. And they do a ton of different stuff. Historical preservation work, just gatherings. We have a couple of their neat old books in the New Hampshire room because of their historical preservation. They actually had donated these old, wonderful handwritten documents of the Adams School, which was over on Lane Road. And they also have some different rosters that they've donated as well. So
I have a present for you.
You
I just
do?
remembered. I don't have it with me.
Besides the coffee.
I don't have it with me. I have to bring it to the library later.
Awesome. So yeah, she's a character. And then you also see different symbols, like see the 3 chain links on the noise stone?
Yes, I was wondering that's Oddfellows.
Yeah,
right?
that's Oddfellows. So FLT is usually in those for friendship, love, and truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 that bind the Oddfellows together.
Are they, so everybody was part of like a social club like that
A lot of
back
them.
then, right?
Yeah, because
If you could afford to
What
be
could
buried
they-
in a graveyard.
well, And not always, because sometimes the social club is like your family, and sometimes they'd aid each other financially in different ways.
Yeah, well, I
So,
think that was
that
that's
was a
what
good thing too.
a lot of people, obviously there's all those conspiracies about the Masons and stuff, and I, you know, for anyone who's ever owned a business or done business, like, you understand how powerful marketing is.
Yes.
And like, that's just what it was. That's like why just so happens that all these people are doing this stuff, is because when you work together with a bunch of other wealthy people, like,
Right.
you just get to be more wealthy.
Well, that's true. And the different ones, like Oddfellows, were definitely all about working. Even one of their symbols is even a beehive, because they're saying, okay, we work together and then we reap the reward as
Right.
a group.
Communists.
Not all, but I think also they didn't have a lot of other distraction, right? This was like something that they could do and have fun with, and it was their entertainment too. So there were lodges downtown. So you know the
We still
Cash for
have
Gold building, right next to the Baptist
Yes.
Church. That was the Fraternal Order of the Eagles Lodge.
Yeah.
Across from it, where there's Mr. B's Roofing,
Yeah.
that was the Knights of Pythias Lodge. And right where the
Oh, so there was like a shitload of them.
Cumberland Farms,
Yeah.
that used to be where the Oddfellows Lodge was.
God damn, they must be rolling in their graves.
So
If you listen closely, you can hear the sound of the Oddfellows all
as you're
scream in
pumping your-
anguish.
as you're pumping your gas.
Scream in anguish as you buy a Reese's Fast Break.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But then they started to not have as much membership because, you know, people, you got television and radio.
Yeah, what do you need? What do you need the Eagles
Why do you
for?
need to socialize?
What do you need the Eagles for?
No.
The actual Eagles came out and it was way cooler. I noticed some of the gravestones are actually still in really good shape, and some
Right.
of them have really degraded more. Is that
Right.
just care, or is it
Yeah.
just the ability, like, to afford a really high quality gravestone?
Maybe a little of each, because each material is going to react differently over time, and some are very old, so obviously they're not looking as good.
Well, it's funny you say they're very old, because they're
Some are
like the
1700s.
oldest American
Right.
graves are not anywhere near as old as
Yes.
you know, something you might find in London
Ireland, England, yeah. But they're quite, in this, we're going like 1720s, right, to present day.
Oh, I guess there's probably ones all the way back from, not here, but like 1492 would have been
I
the
think,
earliest European graveyard here, right?
I think,
And that would be down in Florida.
In-
So probably doesn't exist
I
anymore.
want to say that the oldest that they're saying is around is in Massachusetts.
Gotcha.
I think.
I like you throw that. I feel like there was some shade thrown there, and I don't.
I
You're
would
like,
say, like,
you know what they say.
no, it's just hard because, like you said,
You know
like,
how
things-
big graveyard
things
is.
are destroyed, and then of course there were burial places that were not first settler burial places. Where are they?
Right.
Can you see them? No. So it's hard to always find the first. I think the first is tricky to nail down. But in this graveyard, 1720. So to answer your question though, yes, care. And some people will care for their family plot. Others kind of, it's over. They've left and they've gone. And of course, DPW does the maintenance of the entire cemetery. And then there's friends of the cemetery, like TJ, and they'll come in with a group and they'll volunteer and scrub stones. But it's hard to do everything. And some of the stones you cannot wash. Like sometimes they're eaten too much in, and even
Yeah.
like D2 won't help that much, but
What's
it might
D2?
help. It's like a biologic solution that is
Gotcha.
conservation
Yuck.
grade.
That sounds gross.
That's conservation grade for gravestones.
Like, that's really
But this is a zinc stone, which is more rare, and they only made these for a while.
That's made of zinc?
Yeah.
That must weigh so much.
Right, they only made these for a while. But yeah, you can see it doesn't really get gnarly. It looks perfect. There's a story that people would like put little coins and stuff in this.
In it?
That's what they say, because it's hollow on the inside because
Good,
it was
next
made
time
of a
I'm having
mold. Don't
hard
even.
time paying rent.
I don't think there's much really in there.
Yeah, now you say that now. 32 years. 32 years, 5 months, 12 days.
Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah,
So,
but theirs is younger for
outlived
sure.
this one.
Yep, that happens.
I saw one back there that was like Baby Morris.
I know.
Is that because is it true that
Vaccinations.
I don't know if I made this I made this up.
Vaccinations are great, Nick.
But didn't whoa, we're not trying to get controversial here on the
I'm just
podcast.
saying, like,
But is it because I had heard that back then it was like it was typical to not name a baby till they were 2.
I don't know. A lot of them named them right away.
Did they?
But back when, like what? Because you'll see on the birth registers, it'll say their name. But in my family, I had a horrible time finding one because it just was Baby Dainty. So you're
Baby
like
Dainty.
in some cases,
That's
a
a cute
family
name,
might just say baby until they've decided for sure they're going to hang on to it.
Have you gone back on your own family history?
Yeah.
How far have you gone back?
I
We can go somewhere with a little more shade if you're getting hot.
That's all right. Yeah. I mean, we're way deep into it at this point.
Okay, you're right.
Sweating bullets.
You're right. I'm glad I'm not the only one sweating.
The Messenger family, because my grandma did that side, so they have some interesting names. Speaking of names, they named the last child because they were messengers. That's what they did during the American Revolution and whatnot.
What does that
Their
mean?
last child, they'd run messages. That's what they were. It was like an occupational name. They named their last child Return.
Return messenger?
Yes.
God damn.
For real.
And that one died probably of shame? Died of
I think so,
embarrassment? Died
for sure.
of embarrassment. There were 3
Or
and they were like,
Buck
Mother, I don't
was
want
like,
to do this.
I'm not going to be a messenger.
Imagine being born the return messenger and being like, I wanted to be in the movies.
I know. That would be tough at that
I
time
really
period.
wanted to be. I wanted
Maybe like a
I wanted to be
vaudeville.
a cobbler, and now I'm stuck. I don't want to be a messenger.
I think that was a legit thing still back in the day. Like
Yeah,
people
you
would
raise-
do whatever they want, you know, like
doing whatever you want.
Well, I mean, some of the kids would work at the age of
I
like
feel like
8.
you used to be trapped because like before the internet, you couldn't just do whatever you want.
And like you're a blacksmith at the age of 8, and you're like, this is what I know.
Yeah, and you're gonna die by the time you're 14, so you kind of have to really lock in if you want to change the course of your world.
Yes. Yeah.
That is, it's funny because my great grandparents on my dad's side came here from Hungary and Turkey.
Okay.
Also on his side there's some island in Connecticut that one of my ancestors used to own who was like either an admiral or some kind of sea person.
Just a sea captain.
Just some kind of sea guy.
Okay.
But just talking on that, like they were blacksmiths from Hungary or Turkey around, like they were coach workers.
Right.
And then they became like auto workers and then
That makes sense from the blacksmith. They're doing carriages probably, stuff
my
with carriages,
grandfather,
horses.
Yeah, you still call people who work on cars are still coach builders.
Okay, gotcha.
We're still called coach builders.
Gotcha.
Auto body techs. Mm-hmm. And so then my dad did auto body, and then I did auto body. And then finally I was like, this fucking sucks. I do not want to do this anymore.
But that is interesting that the trade kind of went down the line. Like on my side, it's tailors and bookbinders, and on the other side, the messengers. But
Wow,
the
you guys
tailors,
really got
just tailors.
Jeez.
Just gonna sew some clothes.
Yeah, that's rough. You guys automation did not do well for you guys. Automation and the internet really devastated
I think so. Our
your
trade.
future.
And now AI can write my book. So I'm done.
Do you use AI to write books?
No. I'm freaked out by AI.
Why?
Like but maybe you can convince me of great things, because I was like recently at this webinar where they were like, AI can do these things, and I came away with like, AI can do everything that I love to do.
Yeah, fuck AI. AI.
It's like, why?
Here's the thing about AI that is already getting lost on, is that like AI is we've already peaked as far as like AI creative goes, because AI is now so good at like optimizing itself for Google, that the top AI results are now feeding the AI algorithm, and so like everything you're getting is just a more watered down version of the last thing you got.
It's bad. And that's the other thing.
Like trained.
Yes.
They have to be trained to ignore AI stuff.
Right.
Like the whole thing, I understand why people are scared. But it really, like, to me, as someone who makes their living on the internet, is like, I love it, because the more AI slop that gets put out, the easier it is for me to make something that connects with people.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think that must be there, because I'm just like, and then it can make like a movie or your book. I'm like, oh my God, cool. I'm glad does it have joy from that? Because I do.
It won't. Yeah, but it can't. Like, art as a whole, like everything you do, I mean, the history stuff you do is like sort of fact, right? But like, turning it into an interesting thing, like You're a
Right,
human
like putting
being.
a story together, yeah.
The one thing that robots will never be able to do is be human.
Right.
So like until, and if they ever are, like if robots become sentient, there's way bigger issues than whether or not their painting is better than mine.
It's a whole thing.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
a whole of it.
yeah, way bigger ethical and bigger questions that need to be answered at that point.
Right.
So like until that time,
You're not gonna freak out.
it's just a little trick.
All right,
You know?
well, that makes me feel a little better. But also with the AI, I'm always like, well, what's the source? And every time my kid's on there and like, oh, that's the first thing on Google, I'm like, can you stop and like go find where it's trying to find that info from and click on it and make sure it's a good source?
And does
Because
it
like
say
that's
no?
all a librarian is after, is the source.
I mean, your librarian gig might be in trouble, but
I don't think so. Because I feel like people aren't always good at navigating. Well, maybe they don't know, so they wouldn't
yeah, but if they
ask.
already don't know the answer,
Right, no, I
and
see what
then
you're saying.
AI gives them a shitty answer, they're not going to know if it's right or not.
True.
Then they're satisfied, you know. They're like, all right,
Right.
AI said it, so it's got to probably
probably
be
be
pretty
true.
Yeah, it's like 80% true.
Right.
So
that's
you're-
upsetting.
No, it's not, because now that'll just give you
But
more time to focus
the
on writing
cool
books.
thing, well, no, but the cool thing about the library is that it's like really has evolved, and librarians are good at evolving, so it's like a community resource. So we do a
I
ton
have
of
a third
programs.
arm.
We do a lot with programs, so the kids are always in and stuff like this, like the tours. It would be weird to get a cemetery tour from a robot.
Imagine how
Can
silly
you
that
imagine?
would be. Honestly, yeah. Actually, I kind of want to see that. I have always said that if
Just
once
for
we get the
fun.
cyborg technology, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh God.
you know, if you can take my arm and replace it with like a machine gun, or even something more practical, like a, like
I want it to be cooler than that, though. I mean, machine gun just
maybe just a
do
big
damage.
hammer.
Like, yeah.
Like a big hammer would be cool.
Yeah, a cool thing to smite people with.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking attachments. You know, I've always said like
Or
if-
lasers or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always like, I don't care who can track my locations if I have like a blender attachment.
No, and also
You know?
like, yeah, come find me if I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, come, whatever. Like, please come find me.
What are they gonna do? Shut down my arm? Go for it.
You'll just live on in
No,
that
I'm totally cool with cyborg. I want to live to be very old.
I do too.
I want to live to be 120. That's my goal
Well, that's
right now.
wow. How's
I'm
that?
doing nothing to make that happen. I just am,
Yeah,
other than
how are
willing
your-
it into existence.
You could manifest that, maybe. I think that there is something to like, you know, the will to live.
I'm just gonna refuse to die.
Okay, good.
I've been almost dead a lot of times, and every time it's just like
How
I'm
many
not
times can you carry on?
plenty, as long as I need to. I figure I gotta at least be around till my kids are 18.
Oh God, yeah.
So, like, until
okay,
then,
well,
I'm
that
good.
one you're good. You
That
got
one
that.
I'm
You
good.
got
I got 8 more years there,
Okay,
and then
you
after
got
that I'll just need to have more kids, I guess.
the
That's
fountain of youth.
Yeah, that's my plan, is to just keep having kids. I'm already in talks with multiple people.
Oh, good.
I'm saving up.
They can like freeze you or something, can't they?
Me?
I don't know.
I don't
Only
know.
rich people
The
probably would.
the refrigeration cost to feed
Cryogenics,
me would
did that
probably be too
ever
much.
come to? Did cryogenics ever?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure
know.
there was a couple years ago, one of the cryogenic banks went out of business,
Oh,
and all
geez,
of them,
okay.
all of those people got defrosted.
Oh God. Oh, nasty.
Yeah, I would imagine it would just turn into like soup
Sludge. Yeah, sludge. For
if
sure.
you've been frozen long
Body
enough.
sludge. Yeah.
Body soup. Like, what's the
Well,
best case
this-
scenario? They pour you into a
Oh,
fucking.
look. So this is another one of those social groups. So
Yep.
that's the Knights of Pythias. They have
Who's
friendship.
Pythias?
Pythias. So it was this social club that cropped up at the end of the Civil War. It was enacted under an act of Congress, and they were all about the purest form of friendship. And their main 3 tenets are friendship, benevolence, and charity. They have a lot of like theater stuff that happen in their lodges, but this one you don't see as often. That's the Pythian Sisters.
I feel like a lot of the times when you're talking about these clubs, they sound a lot cooler now than they used to.
I think people want to.
This is our club about
socialize.
friendship and love, right? And then if you said that now, I feel like now the equivalent is like motorcycle gangs.
People are like, yeah.
Yeah,
kinda
so they're
maybe
like
a little bit, yeah.
So imagine if a motorcycle gang was like, we're
But-
just about friendship and love.
They had more ceremony. Although maybe I'm shifting them.
Yeah, how many-
motorcycle games. I have not been to a lot of club meetings, so if they have a lot of ceremony and ritual.
I'm sure they do. They have their suits and stuff.
They have
They
their
have their jackets.
and you can be like a master motorcycle
Guy
guy.
or gal.
Sure.
Actually, I don't think you can be a gal.
So yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, so I feel like they kind of just got that sort of, except
maybe it evolved.
maybe maybe the other ones used to be high society.
And like shrouded in secrecy. They loved that in that era. Like, this is a secret society.
Yeah, but that's cool.
It is cool.
Mason,
don't you want to start a secret society?
The Masons, some of their lessons are still like well-kept secrets, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure like...
Although, what's interesting is whenever I'm looking, and you know, it's just from a distance trying to figure these things out.
Why don't you just go to a meeting? They allow women now.
It's true.
They would probably love it.
They'd be like, finally, a new
They're
member.
desperate
I thought we
for
were
new
dying
members.
out. They're like the Shakers.
I got a call one time, like a phone call.
Yeah.
That was like, hey, we're looking for new members.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From the Masons? Oh my God. No,
I want to ask you about this one right here. This is like a work of art.
Yes,
here.
this is.
Or was it an accident?
No, it wasn't. So this is the Angel family.
So what we're looking at is
a whole family plot.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
I gotta describe what we're looking at because not everybody's gonna be watching the video.
Oh.
So we got like a graveyard a couple graves that are very raw and natural looking, and then there's one who I'm assuming is like the most successful brother, who has like a really highly polished, really nice looking gravestone that's leaning onto what I'm assuming is his younger brother.
Wow.
Is that accurate?
No. So this is the Angel family. It's really sad.
Okay.
So what happened is, so it's Ralph and Everett, and there's a couple different stories here, but the dad was an engineer, so I think you get that kind of workshop vibe, but some people interpret that as this feeling like a playground, because if you look, Everett Angel died when he was 10. So what happened was he was, had the sore throat, and the doctor came and they said, oh, it's probably tonsillitis. Turns out not so much. It was actually...
You keep doing this thing where you look at me like you think I'm going to know exactly what you're talking about, and I don't.
Scarlet fever.
Okay.
And so, unfortunately, by the time they picked up on, he was already...
But even if they had known, they probably couldn't do anything, right? I don't think they wouldn't
do too much different. But you can see his final words on that stone there, see them up yonder, and they interpreted that because as he was dying, he said, Mom, I see them up yonder, as the angel's coming down to collect him.
That's actually kind of beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? So this was kind of a playground type feel, and these stones are cut from a boulder that was in their front yard that Ralph and Everett had played on, and so each side was smooth. Now, Lizzie also has her final words here, the mom.
So does Edmund here. Oh, right there. I don't know how to die.
I don't know how to die. So she was a woman that always was trying to do things exactly customarily properly, right?
Yeah.
So she wanted to always do things right, and as she was dying, of course, who's practiced that? And so she said, I don't know how to die. And then she passed away.
I do think it's one interesting thing of note here is that Edmund Ansel Angel was a chemist.
Yep.
Principal of Pinkerton Academy.
And I didn't even mention it.
Lizzie James was a wife.
Yes.
So that sucks.
Well, that is often what you see, which is why I like to go back and put the story together, right? Because sometimes you see more in the paper record, sometimes not for the women.
Now, do you think that Lizzie would have been okay with that? Or do you think that she wishes that she was remembered as more of just the wife of Edmund?
You'd have to
My
ask
wife would
her.
be
I know,
pissed.
I would be. I'm like, don't be doing that.
I'm gonna make
Don't say I like to knit and play board games.
So you want us to lie?
But I think it was customary, and a lot of people loved that. She actually may have gotten a lot of, not everybody comes to this world like, I want to do this, but who knows? We'd have to ask her. Maybe that's what she thrived off of, and I don't want to put any judgment on that either.
Right.
So, but that was customary for sure.
And what's that say?
Until the day
God's
dawns.
workshop?
Oh, yeah, in God's workshop. And then it says, until the day dawns and darkness disappears. One time I was
Do you think
filming
they designed this before they died?
Yeah, probably. Or, who died last? Was it Edmund?
Yes.
Yeah, so he probably...
No, Ralph, the 1968.
son. They might have been thinking about it the whole time.
Okay, so these guys...
They were the kids.
Lived a pretty
Ralph
good life.
And Grace were later, because they were the kids.
Gotcha.
The second son.
Boy, this is actually looking at grave... I've never really taken the time to look at
that's the thing.
A gravestone, and I didn't even realize there were other names there.
Right, and every time, that's the whole idea that I do the sleuthing with. It's like you just look and then you have a question and then you go and find out the answer, which is what's so fun.
It kind of looks like there's a, it's not, but it kind of looks like there's a website at the bottom.
It kind of
Wife of.
You're right.
Right, wife of Ralph.angel.com.
Yeah.
And then they have, so those kids were also, I don't remember what the name was, but there were that group, the Sisters of the one that was over there, you said. Pitherel.
Oh, Pythian Sisters. Yeah, good job. That's the Pythian Sisters.
So does Edmund being a Mason and her being, do they go to different heavens?
No, they're not really. So a lot of the social
I know they're not really going to heaven. I was just.
They're not really. That's right, Tyler. No, a lot of the social clubs will be like a little bit more vague. Not always, but a lot will be like, a higher power. And they'll leave it at that. So they don't really get way deep.
Gotcha.
Everybody's more welcome. I'll show you. There's like a totally boring looking stone up there, but I love her. I could show you that one.
Okay.
Are you getting tired? What time is it?
No, I'm
just
not getting
rambling
tired.
on.
Here's 40. We're at 40 minutes. I
Okay.
usually go for at least an hour. So
Okay.
sometimes as long as 2.5.
One time though, I was sorry to just jump about.
I find this very, very interesting.
I was filming this one, and I'm not like there's any.
Do you
like,
think those people were
there's no
Are
paranormal.
they visiting the fucking angels right now?
Yeah, probably they know this one. But the light kept doing this weird thing in the video. I just thought it was kind of cool.
So obviously I was going to wait to get into that, but do you ever see any ghost shit going on?
No,
Come
like
on.
I'm too practical. But
Do you
here's the
ever
thing.
show up at night though?
No, but also
Okay,
I'll
so you're a
get,
coward.
I'm obeying the rules. But here's the thing: there's like different times where I've been like, oh, like I gotta get out of here. And the only time that's ever happened where I was like, that's kind of odd, like not my usual thing, was in Gettysburg. There was a place called Devil's Den, and I don't even remember.
Devils?
Yeah, but like I walked down there, and I was like, no, and I like left. And it wasn't even. I don't even know what the lore even was about Devil's Den. I don't remember the story. I just remember being like, oh,
Like you just had a weird
I
feeling?
gotta go.
You had a weird feeling?
Yeah, and then when my grandma Garrick.
Probably just uranium.
Probably. When my grandma Moulton passed away, I inherited her lamp, and it was one of these touch ones. And after she died, it would just flick on in the night. And I was like, wait, okay, like the wire is getting touched or something's like on the... And I never found anything, so I'd unplug it. And so sometimes it'd be like...
Even when it was unplugged?
No,
Oh.
when it was plugged in. But it stopped after a while.
Yeah, because you
so I
unplugged
was
it.
like,
You kept
no, but
unplugging
now
it.
it's just there and it's a normal lamp. But for a while after she had passed away, it would do this thing.
I wonder, was it always at the same time?
Not really, but one time I was in like a Zoom meeting reading a story with all these other writers, and it starts going, and I'm like, sorry, that's my grandma. Just to be weird.
That is weird.
It was weird. It was weird. And I'm not like, oh, there's so much.
I don't really know what I believe.
Well, join the club. That's like, it's good to come at things agnostically. Like, what will we find? This is...
Until you die. And then you're like, I am so sorry.
I messed that up.
I fucked up.
I really messed that up. So this one is Hattie Smith, and it's such a I know, you're like, wow, it's like really impressive.
I mean, I feel like that's sort of a misnomer, right? Is like, just because you have a big gravestone doesn't mean you lived a cool life.
Right. And she was so cool. Like she was a hatter, go figure. And she had a little shop down in Young's Block, which again was Cumberland Farms. It had the Oddfellows building and Young's Block. And she'd make all these gorgeous hats. And in the newspaper, she has these wonderful drawings, like an art portfolio, I'm telling you, like wonderful ads, just of these beautiful hats with tons of feathers. And I just think she was so cool. So she, like, in 1900, in Derry, she divorced her husband for habitual drunkenness. And then she went...
In
1900, like on the year. And then she like went to California and was in LA and selling hats in LA.
It's like America's first lesbian.
And then she came back and she'd gotten cancer. So she lived with, it's like a lot of emotion. Boom, 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 boom. And then she was buried back here. She was from North Wayne, Maine.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that lesbian comment. I can almost
you
guarantee
probably
you.
will. If they listen,
I was just kidding. I was just kidding. No. I'm gonna clip it, so they're definitely gonna see it.
So,
that is cool. So, did she go crazy, or did she get cancer from being a hatter?
No, she just got cancer. I think it was...
You said that very definitively.
Well, I don't know. Like, I saw cancer on her death certificate. I don't think it didn't say cause from hatting or anything.
What's the weirdest death you've ever seen in the history books?
One gravestone, and it's not far, it's in Massachusetts, said a guy melted to death. And that was odd. Like, I don't know if they're saying heat stroke, because it was way back, or if he was in a factory or what. That one was rough.
He fell into
a vat.
Yeah. He's Two-Face from Batman.
We got to figure out what this is.
Did you figure it out?
No. Nope.
You just gave up, huh?
I just was like, I gotta.
Wow, that's weird.
I'll look into it.
Not much of a sleuth.
But there are, your face melting comment made me think of something I was researching the other day. There was like a time period where people were throwing carbolic acid at each other in like the 1920s, and I always
for
run
fun?
into those. Just if they were pissed at you, like
That's a Middle Eastern thing, isn't it?
I don't.
No,
think
I don't mean
so.
modern Middle Eastern thing, but like that used to be like a trope in old noir films.
Oh, gotcha.
Is that they like a Middle Eastern person would throw acid
Well,
on you.
believe me, it wasn't in these newspapers. It was straight up Americans running around. Being
They
like,
could have been Middle Eastern Americans. I'm just saying that was like a thing then.
Maybe it just
It's like
caught
a-
on. It
it's
was like,
a-
oh yeah, let's
It's like
do this.
you regularly see in old noir like
Right.
literature and
Well, that would
film
be
and
the
stuff. It's
time
like
period, right?
A Middle Eastern person throwing acid on somebody.
But it was, yeah, it was.
God
wild.
damn it! I'm gonna get.
You're
fucking
done.
so hard.
You are done on
I'm
this
sorry.
one.
I didn't want that to happen. That's just what it was.
I shouldn't have brought carbolic acid in.
You shouldn't. So why was that? So they would just get mad at each other and throw
Yeah,
acid on
like
each
just
other?
to malign, malign somebody.
Why did we stop doing that? You know?
This kind of stone, I just wanted to point out because it's kind of like you see them all over, and it tells you.
Is that marble?
This is a government-issued stone, usually of the Union Army of the Civil War or Spanish-American War, and it has a rounded top, and it's marble, I believe, and then it's a recessed shield, and that is how you can always identify them.
So did he die in the war?
But not necessarily. It could have just been he was in the war and he's given an issued stone. So, and these can also, you can do that for a soldier, I believe, according to check the Veterans Affairs website. But even if you had one that didn't have a grave marker, you have to do all the paperwork for it. But they still.
It's kind of fucked up that they give us such a little stone. But
The thing is, it's actually really, like before it's put in, it's like quite tall and it probably sank. So I bet we would see some that are much taller if we, we're back in the older
I
section.
know, but
a
it's just
little bit
like not that impressive, I guess.
more. No, that's true.
You know?
That symbol is Daughters of Rebecca, that one with the R and the dove. That's like the Independent Order of the Odd Fellows female auxiliary.
I almost joined the Oddfellows too.
Did you?
I almost did, yeah.
I love the Odd Fellows.
There's one in Seabrook. They seem more fun than the
Yeah.
Masons, you know? They
Okay.
just seem
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit silly.
Yeah. I love the Odd Fellows, and every time I'm researching the Odd Fellow, it's like, oh, what are they up to? Of course, the Masons say less about what they're up to, but the Odd Fellows, like one of the ones that I love on the other section, he was an Odd Fellow forever, and then he was playing Santa Claus for the kids later in life.
So the difference that I found when looking into the Oddfellows and the Masons is that the Masons are much more focused on like personal development, and the Oddfellows are more focused on like
well, they're industrious,
what's
right?
it called? Well, they're focused on like helping the community.
Yes, the
and, like,
charitable
charitable
aspect.
aspects.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, because the Masons have their whole this is a symbol, and it also reminds you
Right.
to be upright and strong.
Right.
I definitely see that in there.
Is there anything that we can do, like people are doing today, that is like making your job easier 100 years from now?
Oh, yeah. Oh boy. I mean, because a lot of stuff is online, I love to have some stuff in print too. Because just if you're not preserving that in a really
There's
intense
a car
way,
coming. That's why I'm trying to push
it
you over.
can,
but you're demanding that
no,
I get
sorry.
hit by this car. You're insisting that no, it's
stay
time.
the
Nick.
course.
It's time,
Stay
Nick.
the course.
Don't be scared. Just go
It's a
into
nice
the
place
light.
to go. But yeah, putting some stuff in print, I think, is a great idea, and always preserving in 3 different places, right?
Coming
in
here
print.
as a student, sorry,
Yeah,
there's a student
that
driver
is
here.
it's a weird choice, but
That-
also kind of good, right?
Kind of good, but what if you miss? What if
That's true.
Like
It's a
high
risk.
Stakes,
Yeah.
high stakes, because if you take out
Maybe that's their
if you
best
take out
driver
a-
right now. They're
if
like,
you take out a gravestone from 1600, it's game
You're in
over.
trouble.
You're in big trouble. They won't even.
they did back up too, I gotta say. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Backed right up.
I probably heard us talking shit about him. They're like, what'd you say?
But wait, well, yeah, so preserving stuff in 3 different places, like in print, online, in the cloud, giving it to multiple family members. I think that's always a great thing because you want to just disperse it, because who knows if somebody just throws all their stuff into the trash when they die.
Right, I
Which
feel
is
like-
fair.
I feel like you could play tricks on your future generation.
Oh, totally.
That would be fun, actually. I think
There's
that's
another one.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, gosh.
I mean,
You'll make you leave a little puzzle to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end,
I like
it's
that
like,
too.
psych.
They dig up this treasure box and it's just empty.
Yeah. I mean, they would have to be because I had spent too much money developing the puzzle.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry guys.
Maybe there's just another puzzle.
Yeah,
inside the
millions
box.
of dollars I spent on this puzzle.
So there's, well, you can't film it right now.
Actually, it would have to be tens of dollars at this point, but. So what's post 45 car?
Oh, GAR would be Grand
GAR?
Army of the Republic. Yep.
Okay, that's
So that's another one of the same ones. See how much taller?
Yeah.
Yep.
So they started off here and they just
they sink.
they slowly sink. Is that why the second box is here to stop it from sinking?
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't mean to kick you. I'm sorry.
Oh God.
Hassiness.
That, I mean, I think it will eventually probably sink, but at
There's
the
something
same
under
time,
it too.
yeah, body.
No, right there.
Oh.
You can see there's another rock there.
Oh yeah.
You crazy person.
I think
Jesus.
they really do.
I think the body would be over
They
here.
get better and better at this,
The
and
body
also
would be here, right? This is a
probably,
short
yeah.
guy because look at how
Yeah.
from here to here.
Although I don't know.
Not very tall.
Everybody's recipes, God no. Cemetery layouts are different. Like in some cemeteries, they actually will insert the casket straight down, and in others lay it flat, and some will be facing one.
Oh, they
direction.
lay them down. They lay them straight down.
Sometimes, yeah. Like insert it straight down. It just depends.
That makes sense.
But the older section's less organized, right? Because that was like their first burying ground. And
Yeah.
They didn't have a huge community, so they're like, all right, well,
so
it can be a challenge.
I learned recently that out in California and like as things got like as we move away from New England, which is the oldest
Yeah.
part of America,
Right.
of the United States, and you go out west, like there's less and less of these types of
Yeah.
gravestones, and they're all in the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like when you look at a graveyard from far away, it just looks like a big field, and then you get over there.
Right.
And there's just not as, I mean, there's still some, but there's not nearly as many like sticking up out of the ground
Interesting.
as there is here.
I mean, I love these. You do see they teeter and totter. Like they start to.
I mean,
but
these
also,
are cool, you know?
Yeah, these are cool. And also, like, actually next weekend, I'm doing one in Vermont. The Vermont and New Hampshire Old Graveyard Association and the Vermont Old Cemetery Association, they do a lot of work to help maintain the older graveyards.
eye there.
Where you're, that would be adding a lot of tension to this.
You see how you tried to push me in front of that car, and I was,
Just
and
my
I'm trying to
I'm going
protect
to blind myself. But they do work to, you know, when one is leaning away over like that one, it's like really close to the ground. They set them back up and they do small masonry and figure out the best way to make it look good again, even though they're so old. You might like this.
you. Mai Tai?
Might you? I love this one.
Do you already, oh, it's grown into the tree. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Do you have any, that is really cool, actually.
Isn't it cool? It's the Tree of Life. TG kind of has this like ghost story about this one, but I'm always like, yeah.
Tell me about it.
So, Dorothy, who used to,
I like that you used to talk to your grandma.
I know, but
Yeah, your
that's
grandma's
totally
lamp.
normal, okay? That is totally normal.
Yeah, but it stopped, Nick.
So, I'm trying to remember exactly how he tells it, but Dorothy, who used to do all the work for the Friends of the Horsetail before she passed away, she was in this section, and she'd walk to somewhere around the Tree of Life, where this is grown in, and she saw a sort of orb in the sunlight, and it was over this way, and she passed through, and this gravestone had fallen and was covering up a gravestone that's on the ground, and it was, I believe, 2 Civil War soldier brothers, and she kind of associated it with them. Where I'm like, but look,
Yeah,
maybe it was
grew
about
into
Betsy.
the tree. It grew into the
We
tree.
don't
This
know.
is Betsy now, I think.
This is Betsy.
Betsy.
She's shining the light down. We don't know.
Well, no, she's just dropping some sap.
Yeah, probably.
She's punking people.
Yeah.
Does
like
anybody
this
come visit these? Like, are there families that still come visit
I think
these
so, and-
places?
Like there some of them. I don't know. I'm not out here being like, are you visiting?
Hey, what's up?
Although I did help someone last time I was here because they were from out of town and they were like, we didn't know it was going to be so big. So I pointed them that way. But the one with the fence, Lucy, you'll see a little white fence around the gravestone. They specifically maintain that year to year.
That's
so
cool.
there are certain ones that are like, yes, they're always there. They're always on time. There's money allotted for it. Same with, there's money allotted specifically for, you know, the Taylor Library. The Taylor sisters began that, and they have money allotted for flowers and maintenance of theirs
Oh, that's cool.
that they bequeathed. ages and ages ago or whatever.
That's kind of a ball and move, though. You're like, you know what? We want flowers forever.
I know, you'd have to ask Jen exactly like what the parameters were or where it came from. But
$10,000 American now, so that I can have the sickest flowers in this graveyard.
Some of them, though, I mean, it's like they would set it up in a trust, right? And you don't ever spend out anything but the interest because they really prepared. So that's kind of cool.
That is.
I mean, I don't have that kind of...
I'm not going to do that, but...
No, I'm not going to do it either.
What do you want to happen to you when you die?
I always have this, like, I'm toil over it because I love cemeteries. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, like, do I need a big stone or whatever? And I kind of am interested in the forest cemeteries in Vermont. They throw you in a shroud and just put you in the forest and you decompose real quickly. And you're one with nature, which is, you know, I like that.
I want to get turned into one of those deli hams and then served at my wake. Served at my celebration of life.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for that news.
No, you're coming. You have to come. You have to come. You're going to get to be in the newspaper article about it.
I knew this was going to happen.
I feel like the way you got to, you either got to go all in.
Right.
And get the absolute, like, if I'm going to do that, I want like a statue of me chiseled that's like way better looking than I really am.
Yes, I love a statue. If I were gonna go for a statue, I'd have like a statue of like me just hugging the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, I'd want one of like me as Poseidon, you know, like just real tasteful.
But you gotta put aside a lot of money.
There's not a lot of tasteful nudity at the graveyard, and that's what I want to bring.
And you know, I'm not thinking there's like a lot of rules about nudity statues in the cemetery.
Well, it's art. It's not nudity. Jesus Christ. I thought you would be a little bit more open-minded, little miss fine arts master.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think the rules really have even counted for that much in the cemetery rules.
I mean, the rules didn't account for it at the Sistine Chapel either, because they didn't have to. Well, actually, I guess they did, right? Because they painted over it.
Did they get in trouble? Oh.
So Michelangelo painted them all naked, and then then they painted loincloths on them. And then many years later, like centuries later, they took them out. They
refinished.
And now it's they refinished.
Sorry.
You're like, and here you can see the switch to Judaism. Yeah, no, they took off the loincloth. I don't know how they do it, but they removed the loincloth, and then underneath was still intact.
Oh, I thought you were saying they painted loincloths on it, then they like...
Yeah, they painted loincloths on, and then they removed just the loincloth, though, so it was still the original Mike.
They didn't have to retouch it.
I don't know. I don't think so.
We've gone way off the rails.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the joy of podcasting.
That's the nature of the...
But I don't really know how that works. You might know because you're a fine arts major.
No, I'm not. I went to theater school. And then my MFA was in writing. So. Okay. No painting.
But so why did you go into writing?
Because I love to write.
Because is that just like a weird...
Yes.
Because you said that you're bookbinding relatives.
Oh yeah, a weird coincidence.
Is that a weird coincidence, or did you know that when you went into it?
No, weird coincidence. But also, like, writers they're weird.
That hill was really steep. I don't know if everybody saw that, but I'm fucking, that was it for me. Game over.
Yeah, we're sweating a lot. It's hot. It's hot. I've got my hot coffee, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about.
Thank you for bringing it. No, writers, I think writing made sense to me because my imagination's real messed up.
Baby Morse.
Oh, see. And the only way to tailor it and temper it is to write something down.
That makes sense. I write a lot too, not as cool as you.
No, it's cool.
But I do a lot of writing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I just use it as like, okay, I'm thinking of this stupid thing.
Right.
That's why I talk so much too.
Yeah, but like that weird thing that came into your head, you're like, whoa.
I have to get it out, or it's going to be in there.
You're going to go to the psych ward in a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you still might if you're lucky like me and you have to talk about it, but...
Sometimes it's just a story idea that you need to write down.
Yeah, no, I do a lot of writing. A lot of times it's literally just to like get whatever's going on in my head out of my mind.
And then you can put it aside
Then you can put it in a drawer.
Yep.
And then they can find it after you're dead.
Yep.
And then be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Dad?
Exactly. All those strange documents.
Well, it's funny, right? Because this is...
Do you want to go up that? No. Well,
where?
Yeah. Is this kind of
We'll
fun?
go wherever.
Right,
I don't care. Don't worry about me.
All right.
Dicey. This is, I don't know, this is a little dicey. It's dicey, yeah. You guys, that's a visual gag on this podcast. As you can tell, we're professionals at this. You're the worst.
I'm sorry.
So yeah. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Where do you see you taking this in the future? Can people hire you to do this?
Well, so yeah, I do all sorts of things with the Humanities Council, like teaching research stuff.
What the fuck is the Humanities Council?
New Hampshire Humanities? They teach all sorts of cool historical things and research, and it's great. But I'll teach like people how to do research. I do that all around New England. And then
I was not thinking about like the educational humanities.
Okay, gotcha.
I was thinking about the Humanity Council.
Okay, gotcha. So
and I was like, how did you get on that and not bring it up? I feel like I deserve to be on the Humanity
totally.
Council.
You should apply. But then also, I have a little story idea that's more like a travelogue through cemeteries, and I think that'd be so much fun.
Like a cross-country kind of thing?
More like New England, because there's so many to hit. And there's really cool ones, like going to Connecticut, where the Industrial School for Girls Cemetery was, and they had a couple institutions in Middletown, or going up to Maine and seeing where the Smutty Nose Axe murderer is buried.
What is that?
Like, you know Smutty Nose Axe murderer?
I don't.
What?
Why would I know that?
Are you serious?
I really don't.
Okay, it was
I thought it was a beer.
Wow. Okay, but no, it was on the island, and this guy went and axed these ladies.
Is Smutty Nose the island?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And it was like it's off Maine and New Hampshire, but it's like, I think it's technically Maine, right?
I don't know. I just told you I didn't even know it was an
Isle
island.
of Shoals.
Oh, okay. Oh, is the Smutty Nose an Isle of Shoals
Yeah,
island?
I believe so. But you could read Doug Robinson's book. Obviously,
I
you
could.
will do that.
You could probably just tell me. You could probably just give me the abridged version, though.
But it was like a major, in the old newspapers, it's huge because the trial was like put up and they report back on it. And he had just axed these women on the island, and it was brutal.
Why?
Because, okay, I don't remember, like, was he trying to rob them, or was he just trying to murder them with an axe?
Axe killing used to seems
The thing
like
is, the
it
axe
used to be
was
like a big thing.
The axe was by the door. It wasn't even he brought an axe to do the murdering.
Oh, he just.
So
it was
I
just
think like they started like yelling.
It's like when you're shopping. It's like when
And
you're
then
shopping and you get a Snickers at the
Yeah.
the way out.
It was real bad. So, but I think where he's buried, it's like the prison cemetery. I think it was just one single rock, and I always like think about that, like who's visible, who's not visible. You know.
Well, that's interesting because think about how many people probably died and just don't get like
Anything.
couldn't afford even like
Totally.
a plot.
Yeah.
Or got
Absolutely.
buried in some fucking mass grave
Sure,
behind,
yeah.
you know, back when they had like poverty graves, right? Where they would just dump
Potter's Field.
100 people in a
Yes.
grave and call it a day.
Yes.
With no information.
Or like the asylum ones where they're just numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sad.
brutal. It's brutal.
Wow, that's really sad.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, some of them. But I had that's another part of why I do this. I had an ancestor who was like, no one was really sure if she lived. There's just a weird rumor about this horrible event. And then I was able to find her buried in a New Britain, Connecticut graveyard, but she had no stone. But we got her a stone, which was really cool.
That's nice of you.
Like way in retrospect.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any money, but there was also a lot of shame around the death. So there was also
Why?
that element. She died of, well, this one's sad. Do you want to go into
Yeah.
it? Okay. She died of septicemia due to an apparent abortion. This was in
Oh, that is sad.
1920s. And she was 12. And her father and brothers were accused of the crime. On her deathbed, she said it. And so, like, there's a lot in the old, I have my great-grandpa's inmate record. Such a treat.
Did he go to jail for
He went
it?
to Wethersfield for 8 years, Wethersfield prison.
Boy, that's wild. You can 8 years doesn't seem like
It doesn't
that
seem
long.
enough, does
Doesn't
it?
seem that
but
long.
because they said, well, even if he's guilty, he didn't kill her.
He just molested her.
Right. Yes.
And got her pregnant, and then.
Right.
So who did the person who committed the abortion actually go to jail for longer?
So no, because she didn't say that who it was, or if she'd done it, or if she'd seen a doctor, because it was illegal.
Yeah.
So it's like basically you died by this infection. So you can't accuse an infection of a crime and put them in jail. A bench.
Fuck.
A bench.
With a gravestone
Such a good bench.
could have placed. That would have been perfect.
So yeah, that one's rough. But she had no headstone. But then we got her one, and we gathered, and we did like some.
It is covered in bird shit.
Yeah,
though.
that's true.
So that's actually maybe a good thing we didn't
rough.
find that one. because I would have felt like we would have had to risk it, and
Then I got to go to
then we
work
would have
after
get
that.
septicemia. And
Oh God.
we know your
all coming
your genetics are
Full
prone
circle.
to it.
Oh, but I'm going
Look
back.
at, you said there was no rules about nudity, and
Where? Do you see something?
well, dick. I see a dick right there.
I'm looking for the. I was like, where's the picture? We are in the newer section, and with the sandblasting, they can do all sorts of different art on the stone. So sometimes you'll see someone's portrait etched in the stone, and it really freaks me
Yeah,
out.
that's a little
It freaks
creepy.
me out a little bit. I'm like, ah.
Because then also, do you get like the one of them? Because I don't want people to remember when I'm old and shitty. I want people to remember me when I'm like when I was
Well,
young.
right. Who's
know?
choosing the portrait, right?
Yeah, someone who doesn't like
But
me.
at the
probably.
same time, I think it's like people want to leave a tribute, and so if that's it, that's what they choose. It's just I'm like, oh, I'll hang out over where the death's heads and
So
wing death's
now,
heads.
do you ever do any normal, like not normal, like newer people?
Not as much.
No.
But sometimes I'll help somebody. At the same time, there are like records. They make sure records are closed, and every state is different. To people outside of family, they'll have the records closed for a certain period of time. Like they won't release to the public. So sometimes the research is harder for people who are more recent,
Yeah.
simply because their records are closed.
Gotcha.
And then like mental health records, in some states you'll never get health
Yeah.
records, you'll never get. They're either destroyed or they're closed. Sometimes you can file like an affidavit and get those.
So for what reason are like death certificates and stuff public information? Is that just for people like you to do your job?
Sure. Or, if someone needs to prove something, either with lineage or estate stuff.
Does that happen a lot?
I think it does. But I think it's just like a public service, because then you can actually do research and look way back. And it usually, there are the parameters to releasing to the public. Like the census isn't released to the public until 72 years after it is taken down. So the
That's-
1950 census is the most recent
So that's kind of
that we can just view publicly.
That's kind of funny because after someone dies, they have 75 years before you can use their intellectual property.
Right. Same with public zoning. Like, they have to be dead for 75
Yeah,
years.
75 years.
Or 100 years since it was put into print, if you
Oh, is
don't
that
know
what
when
it
they
is?
died. Yeah.
Oh, since it was put into print, if you don't know when they died.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you, Walt Disney, for making it so that I cannot make a Mickey Mouse parody.
You just have to outlast the rule.
I think I will. Well, no, they keep increasing it because Mickey Mouse is set to go into the public domain, I think, in less than 10 years.
Oh, yeah. I think so. But
Because Winnie the Pooh is now public
then
domain.
also I think there's some, like if something is held by an estate, that's going to change it too.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't?
So the way it works is like they still, like you can't use a Mickey Mouse art, but you can use the idea of Mickey
Okay,
Mouse
gotcha.
to create your own art.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting.
So like that's sort of how it works. So like
It's kind of like, but there's a parody rule too, right? You can do parody.
you can, but that's tough to prove. And if
Okay.
you're Disney, then you're just gonna
You're
tie it
not
up
going
in,
to prove it.
You're just gonna tie it up in legal until
Right.
the other person is bankrupt.
Gotcha.
Although you never know now, because like actually with a lot of the big YouTubers will get in trouble for.
Oh,
And so, like, because they actually have the money to support them, like
Right.
so actually, IP laws are changing now,
right.
and like more stuff is getting proved, and it's becoming easier to prove,
Right.
because of
Gotcha.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Because now, like, people with money who have actually made their money off of basically using other people's stuff.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I'm on the fence about it.
I think it's interesting because copyright law seems like, well, copyright changed so many times. So you really do have to know like all the sets of rules for every decade or every time it pivoted
Right.
to be able to assess if you're okay or not.
That's true.
But I like the set. That's why, okay, 1920 earlier, we're good.
What's your favorite story that you've learned from all of this? Oh, he's a firefighter.
That's right, the Maltese Cross. There's, at the end of this row, there's another folktale lady that was in Derry. Her name was Mary Stuart McMurphy. And she tells a story about the Saddleback Horseman. And that just tells you how Deerfield Mountain was formed in the Saddleback Mountain in Deerfield, New Hampshire. And I just love the way she writes it because she has this kind of grand and mysterious tone. And she says, in the dim past, so runs the story. And she talks about how there's like this deep ravine and every evening, the Saddleback Horseman rides through Deerfield Village, and its clattering hoofbeats are really loud and terrifying, and so much so that the villagers would like get in before dark because they didn't want to see the huge giant of the horseman going. And little Charlotte one time tarried too long at the base of the mountain, and she saw the Saddleback Horseman coming up, and its eyes were as big as her mother's wood stoves. And so never again did she forget to mind her mother. She went straight home every night.
Could have to tell my kids that story.
I know. The Saddleback Horseman was always pursued by the evil one.
Okay.
And the evil one was this other giant who
So he was the good guy or the bad guy?
He came from the underworld. And he chased the Saddleback Horseman, and everybody knew that one day the evil one would catch up to the Saddleback Horseman. And so it happened one day as this like thunder was coming in, the storm was
Wait, saddlebag or saddleback?
Saddleback. Saddleback.
It's interesting that they felt the need to differentiate, because I feel like at that time most people were riding saddlebacks, no?
Yeah, but I don't know.
I feel like they could have better described him as just the giant.
This is why, but this is what.
The giant horseman.
This is
the one who's fucking huge.
You gotta let me finish. So he gets to the top, they get to the top. The evil one catches the Saddleback Horseman, and they're fighting on top of the mountain as like lightning bolts are shooting down, and their feet are like, you know, scuffling, and they're knocking boulders down, and fires are starting in the brush. And then the evil one unseats the horseman and takes him to the ground opens up, and he gets pulled under, and the steed starts to sink as well. But before it can all the way, the ground closes up around it, just revealing the shape of the saddleback.
Gotcha.
So that is why it's called Saddleback Mountain.
All right.
So.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, that one's from Mary Stuart McMurphy.
You mentioned that
there.
You love the way that she writes.
And I didn't say that word for word, obviously.
No, I thought. Oh, you didn't. I thought that was it. Did people just used to talk like people used to write, or was there just a bigger differentiation then?
I think a lot of people took like the classical form, right, in their writing.
Yeah.
But sometimes you see it with the folktales because it's more.
But how classical? Because like
very academic sounding, I think.
It is, but only to us. Was it to them? I guess is my question.
I think so.
Because like Shakespeare,
right.
like compared to Shakespeare's English. Their English was probably pretty shitty. Like he would probably scoff at them.
Possibly. But then you're also thinking like classes, right? Like you have the ones
Shakespeare wrote all of his theater for the lower classes.
That's true. But I'm thinking like not as far back as that.
Right.
So if I'm thinking like 1800s, even 1700s to 1900s, or the part where, Mary Stuart McMurphy isn't even that far removed from us. She was in the 1900s. Not late, but they would have these really formal essays that they would write, and then you'd read like the folktales, and it's literally like just me and you talking.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I mean, maybe like a little bit more.
Are there people who still write like that, like in academic?
Oh yeah.
Like, are they supposed to?
Oh yeah. They're supposed to, and also if you try to and you don't do it, you fail. So I did that.
Because I feel like even lawyers, like if you read lawyers,
there's a whole different language.
More able to it's easier now to understand than it used to be.
True, although I feel like they have so many terms that like I constantly have to look up because it is its own little
I have this joke in my act that the evolution of language is so weird that if you tell your grandfather that you're in a goon squad, he's going to be disappointed, but for the wrong reason.
Probably. But yeah, no, like the academics though, like they are so, they're speaking to, what it is, it's audience. You're gonna think of it's like, didn't Vonnegut say that?
Who's your favorite? Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people are trying to copy like modern ever since like that sort of kind of class of writer. They're more trying to copy that like almost what used to be like a news style.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you had like even like guys like Chuck Palahniuk and stuff like that, like they're going to be the next sort of like great American writers.
Right, and I think if people have like a distinctive singular voice that sets them apart, that's great.
Right.
But how common is that? I mean, that person deserves to be set apart because they sound totally different and are thinking and talking about something that no one's ever seen or heard before.
Right, but then you get the people who take that and then use that
exactly.
as their,
like you want to be the next Kerouac,
mock voice,
and you're doing like kind of,
who do you think you write like?
It depends, because it really does depend on what I'm writing, and that's a problem. Sometimes when I'm looking for an agent, I'm like, why is my list so weird and diverse? Like, if I'm writing a nonfiction picture book and I'm throwing in some, nice language, and then I'm writing informational, it's going to sound totally different. Then I might do something more stream of conscious. Oh, I just sound crazy.
No, I actually think that you write very beautifully. I read a little bit of your book. I haven't finished it, but I thought you did a very nice job, and I thought it was it's not dry and it's not boring like a lot of history. Good. Like a lot of history books do get. Like you say, you're ranting, but I've talked more than you have today. So.
But I like that, like it's accessible, right? Like any of us could
I felt like it was like human stories, right. You know what I mean? And that's, to me, that's like what all of this is just like...
Be real.
Like well, I mean, like stories just in general. That's what humans are good at, and it's what, like, I know that now, today, we take it for granted because we have such access to media,
Yeah.
But like, there was a time, like, storytelling predates fire.
Oh, yeah.
It predates agriculture. It predates everything. And so when you see...
writing, right? People are telling the stories all the time.
Right. Yeah, oh yeah, it predates writing. It predates everything. Because that's how they suspect that we pass information in the form of stories.
Right.
And so, I mean, how long was the Bible a story before it was written down? Fucking centuries. And it was originally written in Greek, I think. Ancient Greek. So it's old.
Yeah.
And so I think that we forget that and we take that for granted.
I think there might be a funeral.
Okay. Well, maybe we should turn around. We're going to be
Wait,
done.
no, I think they're going that way.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going toward the entrance.
Okay.
Well, we're in the old section now, so we have no fear of them doing anything over here because we won't be interrupting at all.
But yeah, I just think that the ability to tell a story is really taken for granted. I mean, sports too, like I know we see it here we can just stand in the shade.
Yeah.
We see a lot of like, people talk about how like certain people are overpaid for doing what they do, like athletes and stuff, but like, I mean, there was a time when being the greatest at something was so rare and so weird that like, it was really something. And I think storytelling falls into that. So when you see like, there's a reason that someone like, Kerouac, is like a one of a kind, or like Steven Spielberg.
Or they do it at the very beginning, right? Yeah. Like, because they're groundbreaking something.
And it's easier then.
Well, maybe. Or like, I guess that could keep happening. The groundbreaker will show up at some point, but then everybody else is going to try to, like you said, mimic it. So.
I just feel like we don't give enough credit to that because we have so much access to it.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And I think it's easy to be critical. But it's like, okay, if someone's doing something, I don't know. They also do that with like book publishing. You don't want to try to follow a trend because by the time you actually get published, the trend will be over.
Right.
It's just the way it is. It's the nature of how slow publishing works. So it's best to just write what you really care about. And even if, that's what I found with Beginner's Guide to Cemetery Sleuthing. Like I self-published it and I was like, you know what, this is just for fun. For me, for my humanities programs. I had so much fun doing that project. And I have so much fun sharing it every time I go out to share it. It's just like such a low lift, but it's like, this is just, let's go talk about what we're doing today.
So you do all kinds of like readings and you go all over the place to do it,
or I'll do like a presentation. So it's less readings because I think those are a hard sell for a lot of audiences, but more like, oh, let me show you what these symbols mean or things you might see or how to do a little bit of the research. Then people come away with their own tools and, if a book sells, that's just a bonus, but
do you generally have big turnouts for those?
It depends. Like some places it'll be a tiny town and I'll have a handful and some will have 70 people in the room. Nashua, recently it was like, that's nice. A meeting room at a library is not super big and 70 people packed on a Thursday night, I'm like, that's great. Thanks for coming out.
Do all of them know what they're there for? Or they're just there because they heard something was
actually,
happening?
one time I was doing one on Ancestry, and there was a guy who was like, is this about this, this, and this? After I'd been talking for 5 minutes, and I was like, no. And he's like, I'm gonna go. I'm like, it's good. I'm glad we sorted that out right now, because that's not what this is.
So where can people find your work and where can they find your like upcoming events and stuff?
All on my website, so erinmoulton.com. And I don't know if, just don't forget the middle E because I don't know where the other one goes. Sometimes people forget the middle E. But ErinMoulton.com. Okay. And that's where like, my events are listed.
I was just talking about how what a great storyteller you are. And then you just hit me with that one.
Just butchered it, yep.
How many, actually one more question as like a published author. How many like drafts do you do? Like what is your writing process like?
Yeah, it depends on the book, but I'd say 6 on average for drafts.
6 drafts? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Are you sick of it by the time?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You get
Oh
to the end of
hell.
it?
I never would read it again after it's published.
I would never do
Don't
more than
look.
2 drafts. That's it for me. After that, someone else is gonna have to take over.
I just like, you know, you get feedback. I recently was doing the nonfiction picture book and I asked for some professional feedback and I regretted it. She was like, she shook my heart, threw it on the ground and stepped on it. But then I did what she was talking about and it became like so much better.
And you were like,
I was
shit.
like, she was right on everything.
My tastes are not as good as I thought
Oh my
they were.
God. No, that's why, you know, feedback's good.
All right.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for doing this today. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
That was a nice walk.
It was a nice walk. I'm very hot.
Yes.
And next time we do this, it will have to be on a cooler day.
Yes.
Or maybe later or something. I
Yeah,
don't
in
know.
the evening.
Not like this.
No.
No, well, you don't want to be here after dark.
That's right.
I'll talk to you later, guys.
All right, I'll see ya.
Bye.